You are live. Ben, we're live.
We're live.
We're live. Look, here's the thing. It's 10:22 at night. I I feel like we do this show just so we can talk baseball to each other. I don't really care if people watch. I mean, it'd
This
be
is
great.
effectively therapy for us at this point.
Yeah, it would be great, but I don't need it. It goes up on YouTube so people can watch it. But all the same, other things we got going. There's people on the other side of the moon right now, Ben. Uh, there's uh, there's uh, there's Billy Mays.
Billy Mays,
There's Jelly Roll,
go to hell.
and we got a new group of guys down here at the bottom who we'll talk about a little bit. We got a new graveyard for you, Ben. Talk about 2 marks. Is that tomorrow? We're doing
That is tomorrow.
All right,
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what that's going to be.
2 marks and a spark tomorrow is probably going to be one of the greatest rants I've ever had in the history of that program. If you like me getting pissed off and yelling about professional wrestling, tomorrow is your show. Tomorrow is for you. And if you watched SmackDown on Friday, you would know why. Yes, it got worse. No, I don't know how.
Oh man. So, can you give us a little preview?
Just all I'm gonna say is TKO has no fucking earthly clue what they're doing, and it was shown proof positive for fucking everybody to see on Friday night. The Emperor has no clothes.
The Emperor
has no clothes.
You know,
it's over.
Okay, that's good. I think that's enough to give the people the air. You know what I'm saying? So
can we talk about a bunch of baseball and maybe not talk about that awful Sunday night game?
Do you see what I'm wearing today?
You're wearing an A's hat.
Did you ever watch Highway to Heaven by chance?
No.
It sounds like something that neither one of us would watch because we're both going to hell and our teams will be there.
With us.
Okay,
but for sure our owners will. For sure the owners will.
There's an actor named Victor French, and he was also Mr. Edwards on Little House on the Prairie. And someone said, "Don't wear A's hat. You look exactly like that dude." So here you go. This is from the show.
I don't think he'll look anything like him.
He kind of looks like Russ if Russ cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah, if Russ cut his hair and shaved his beard.
Anywho.
And cared about baseball at all.
My A's hat is far superior to Victor French's A's hat. So Ben, let's get into baseball. Here we go.
I'm willing to talk about everything that isn't that awful Sunday night game, and I'll even talk about that if you really want me to.
Let's talk about that first. You watched it. I did not.
Shit. What a horseshit Sunday night game. Oh my god, this was fucking unbearable.
Can we get a score?
I'm pretty sure it was 5-3 at the end. Yeah, it was. It was 5-3 Cardinals at the end. It was unbearable. This entire game was unbearable. I have nothing positive to say about this baseball game other than I love Jordan Walker.
I mean, what made it unbearable? The announcers, like what?
The announcing was fine. It was neither of these teams are very good. The Tigers are good when Tarek Skubal pitches, and that's it. And the Tigers can't hit right now. The Tigers have one guy with a home run, I think, and I think it's Dingler.
Yeah, there's a lot of big names that have not yet hit a home run. Let's just start there. 10 games into the season.
And the Tigers can't hit, and the Cardinals are in a rebuild. And I don't know if you know this about baseball, Dames, but rebuilding teams are not the most fun to watch most of the time.
I mean, well, here's the thing. If the rebuild is if they're just a team that needs to rebuild and hasn't quite got going, yes. But if they're in like full rebuild mode and you're getting to see these guys come together for the first time, like and play, like I got to see a couple years ago with Seattle, and then knowing that I'd be looking forward.
Yeah, if it's your team, it's fine. But if you're just a neutral, that's a different.
Yeah, there you go.
If it's your team, it's a different story. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just a random baseball game you flip on the TV.
Yeah, I hear you. And there's teams like right now. We'll reveal the graveyard in a little bit, the new graveyard for this week. But it's no secret that the Red Sox are the worst team in baseball right now.
No, there's a worse team in baseball.
They're terrible.
Oh, they're unwatchable for sure, and they're not winning anything.
Oh, I need you to be with me on this one, Ben. Yeah. So they're the worst team in baseball. And I watched some of it. It truly is unwatchable. They've had some of the great players that they've just let go. And they've made...
He let Mookie walk for nothing.
They've made the dumbest decisions imaginable, and the product on the field, the greatest thing about that organization is the 100-plus-year-old ballpark that they play in. Everything else is a shit sandwich, and they are going to be in the middle of the graveyard this week. I can tell you that already. Worst team in baseball.
Speaking of shit sandwiches, can I talk about the dipshit of the week for a second?
Yeah, who is the dipshit of the week? You didn't tell me ahead of time, so I don't have it pulled up, but
I think you can guess based on the pre-show conversation we had. It's the Tampa Bay Rays. Holy fuck. I thought the Tigers were bad for the first week of the season. No.
What are they doing to
you? I owe the Detroit Tigers a fucking apology. And frankly, they owe me one for that Sunday night game. But, so we're even. Because not pitching Tarek Skubal on a Sunday night game. I mean, come on. What are you doing? He's pitching tomorrow in Minnesota. No one cares.
So the stoops of the week are, in fact, according to Ben Shrewsbury,
the Tampa Bay Rays.
Tampa Bay.
And I have a feeling they're going to be here again.
I got it for you.
Thank you. I have a feeling they're going to be here again because let me tell you, this is maybe the worst defensive team I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
On Friday, it was the home opener for the Twins, which was a whole box of rocks anyway because there was a power outage that delayed the game for an hour. I'm not kidding. And then when they finally got started, Bailey Ober immediately gives up 3 runs. And then the Rays proceeded to throw the game away for the next 2.5 hours.
Wow. Yeah, I've seen a lot of suck. And I don't know if it's the World Baseball Classic that disrupted this spring training for so many players that it's just, I know it did. Like my team had more players in the WBC than any other team. So I'm definitely...
Well, you're more affected than anybody.
I'm definitely seeing those effects. They just didn't get a spring. They didn't get a spring.
It's a combination of things. One, I think you're onto something with the WBC, but there is a second factor here. There's not very many good teams in Major League Baseball right now. And this was a problem last year, and it's more of a problem right now because of the WBC, because of how many guys were in the WBC. Because I think just about every team had somebody in the WBC representing at least one of the countries.
Yeah, I think so too. Pretty close.
So when you factor in, there's not a lot of parity anyway. Most of these teams aren't very good. I mean, for fuck's sake, the Pirates are fun to watch right now because of Connor Griffin, but let's not act like they got a lot of talent outside of him and Skeens.
O'Neill Cruz. It's great.
Be honest with me. Do you actually enjoy watching O'Neill Cruz play baseball? Because you're lying.
I did not on opening day, but I've been watching the Pirates a lot because of the two that you mentioned. But he's actually pretty good, dude. I wouldn't want him over.
He can hit.
And Julio is not doing great right now, but I wouldn't take him over, but I would put him in right. I like the way he plays. I put him
back at shortstop.
He was on rugs or
short.
something. He was on rugs or something on opening day because.
Why did they ever? They never actually explained why they took him off shortstop. Because they did it 2 years ago.
Well, they have one of the budding shortstops in the league right now.
2 years ago, Connor Griffin had just gotten drafted, and they weren't sure if he was going to be good yet.
I know.
Actually, they moved him to center before they drafted Connor Griffin.
So let's talk about Connor Griffin for a second. All right.
The only reason to watch the Pirates, other than Paul Skeens.
This is the young man, Connor Griffin. I think he's still a teenager, no?
I believe he's 19.
He's 19 years old. Had never seen a pitch in Major League Baseball. And get this, folks. He signed a 9-year, $140 million deal, and he had never even been to the Major League.
He will turn 20 at the end of the month. That is worth noting.
He's 19 now. That's all I'm. Okay. First of all, Ben, we kind of talked about this a little bit before the show, and I apologize if I was a little harsh in my verbiage. I think I said you're full of shit or something along those lines.
You also didn't let me explain my point.
Okay, that's fair. So here we go, folks. I'm going to let Ben take the wheel, but 9-year deal, never played in baseball for $140 million. That sounds like a lot of money, but I'll let Ben go.
It's like $160 million if you factor in some incentives that are in there. But Look, I'm not saying this is a bad idea. I actually think more teams should be doing this for the prospects they really believe in. I do not have a problem with the idea of doing this. Your team did this with Cold Emerson. I actually really liked that move. And I will praise the Mariners for doing that later in this very show. The reason I am being critical of this move specifically is it is the Pittsburgh Pirates. And if the Pittsburgh Pirates have shown us one thing for the last 15 years, it's that they have no fucking clue what they're doing at all.
Okay, let me break this down for the people, and then I'll come back to that point that you just made. So if you take this, it's less than $16 million a year. It's 15.5 ish.
And I don't even think it kicks in until next year. If I read it right, it doesn't even kick in.
Without incentives. Okay. So you're looking at if he is a good player, if he's like an average to good player, this is fine. Like, this is what you would pay him. If he was the number one prospect in baseball when they made this deal, number one of the list of thousands. Now, if he becomes the superstar, I mean, no one's expecting Shohei Ohtani type numbers, but let's say, or Aaron Judge, but let's say he becomes.
He doesn't have a lot of power. That's the thing. He does not have a lot of power.
Like a Juan Soto type of player. Let's just say.
With less power.
Juan Soto is making, what, $50 million a year?
Almost 60, yeah.
Almost 60. So this is like a quarter of what you would get with Juan Soto.
Again, I agree with the principle of the idea of the move. The only reason I'm even somewhat critical of it is because the Pirates have shown a propensity for bungling it when it looks like they couldn't possibly bungle it.
Okay, now that's what I want to make the second point on. Let's say you're a free agent in baseball and you're fielding phone calls from other teams. And you get a call, your agent gets a call from the Los Angeles Angels or the Anaheim Angels. Are they Anaheim?
You're not going there either.
But if you did, what would be one of the ways that the Angels would say, try and get you on the. We have Mike Trout for the next 8 years, or whatever. That would be like, oh, that's great. All the pressure is not going to be on me. This is a great stepping stone. And also, I told you this before. I don't know if we said this on air, but this was integral part of keeping Paul Skeens in the building.
I don't think this does anything to keep Paul Skeens, and I will talk about why in a minute. This does not do anything for Paul Skeens.
You can talk about it now unless you have a point other than that.
No, if you're done, then my point on this is Paul Skeens, I firmly believe, and if I'm wrong, I will eat the crow necessary when I'm wrong, but we're not going to know for a while. I firmly believe Paul Skeens decided the second he got to the major leagues that the second he could leave Pittsburgh, he was going to. Because he knows just as well as you know, and just as well as I know, that the Pirates do not spend money. This is the biggest contract the Pirates have ever handed out in the history of their franchise. They never paid Andrew McCutchen this much. They never paid anybody this much. This is the richest contract in the history of the organization.
You also have to
They're not
inflation.
Well,
Because
yeah, I know, but they had Andrew McCutchen. They had Andrew McCutchen, and the top dollar for like a big name at that time when McCutchen was there initially, the first time, was about $28 million, and they were paying him significantly less than that. They were paying him about half that. So
was he ever a top 10 player in the game?
Yes, for several years he was. But Connor Griffin's never going to be a top 10 player in the game, but they're not paying him like he's won.
So you're telling me that when Paul Skeens says he wants to build a winning culture with the Pirates,
he has to say that. That's
hold on. He doesn't. Hold on. Let me finish my point before you try and destroy it. He said he wants to build a winning culture with the Pirates rather than seek an exit. And he's expressed love for the city, described the team's progress as special, and he's focused on bringing a title to the city. The last part, your argument makes sense to me. Every fucking player ever says, I want to bring a title to the city. But the other stuff, like saying, like you have Tarek Skubal, who's like, I want to leave. I'm not going to re-sign with you. Don't make me an offer.
Because he's in the last year of his deal.
He's been saying that for like 2 years, though.
Yeah, that he's getting his value up that way. That gets his value up.
It doesn't just being awesome give you enough value.
But
to me, a guy that's like bashing on his city and like saying, I don't want to be here, I'm not happy, blah, blah, blah. That's a guy that's like, dude, this guy can't be happy. I'm not really like, I'm kind of like, eh.
But what you have to understand,
and is like smart and says the right thing.
There is a way Tarek Skubal can look like a fucking idiot here. And this is the risk with the Tarek Skubal approach. Because there is inherent risk in what Tarek Skubal is doing. And I understand what Tarek Skubal is doing. There is a risk in it. That risk is, what if Tarek Skubal has an awful season? Even just by his standards, which is like okay for most everybody else.
Right.
What if Tarek Skubal just has a down year? Then he just looks like a fucking clown.
He does play in Detroit. He's not going to get the run support he would get with, say, like Toronto or the Yankees.
I'm not even talking about wins and losses here. I'm just talking about what if he gives up more home runs this year than he ever has in his career? What if teams hit him harder? What if he just gets beat up for a year? And then Detroit can't hit on top of that. I mean, that doesn't look great when you've been saying for 2 years that you wanted to get the hell out of there and then you suck for the last year you're there. That doesn't look good at all. That drops your value immensely.
True.
That's the risk in the Tarek Skubal approach. That is why so few players in any sport do that, because there is inherent risk in coming out and saying the quiet part out loud. There is inherent risk. That's why Skeens hasn't done it, because I think Skeens, for my criticisms of him, and I do have a few, is not stupid and does understand if I'm a little shit about this and I suck for a year, my value tanks. But if I have a bit of a rough year and take it on the chin like a good sport, that could potentially up my value when I go back to being a top 3 pitcher in baseball.
So you're saying just he's full of shit?
I think anything any major league player says to the media, outside of something that is so obviously honesty. Like what Tarek Skubal said was obviously the truth. There are certain exceptions to this. There are certain obvious truths that these guys say. They're all media trained. There's truth in every lie and lie in every truth they tell. It is what it is. David Sampson talks about this on his show. These guys aren't always telling the truth. Most of the time, they're not. Paul Skeens could have already told the Pirates that he's going to leave when his contract's up, when he's eligible to be a free agent. They're not going to say that publicly. They're not going to say that public. They're not going to say that publicly. Do you know why? Because the Pittsburgh Pirates might never sell a ticket again if they said that publicly right now.
Yeah.
If they said, we are going to let Paul Skeens go when his contract is up in 2029 and he is eligible to be a free agent.
He will be eligible for free agency after the 2029 season, so 2030.
Now, how stupid would the Pirates look if they came out and said, Paul Skeens has told us he will not re-sign, but we're going to hold on to him for the next 3 years? How stupid would they look?
Well, here's what I would say. If Paul Skeens, 4 years ahead of his free agency, said, I'm not re-signing with you, fine, you're a fucking asshole. Get the fuck out of my face. If I say, we realize that we're not doing very good right now. We're putting everything we have in you, and we're going to try and build a team around you, and they show you over the course of those 4 years, you should never play your hand of I'm not re-signing here in 4 years. That would be a huge mistake. And
yes, it would be.
They would
yes,
hate you.
It would be. And I have an example of this. It's a different sport, but I do have an example of something like this happening. Mitch Marner did this in Toronto 3 years before his deal was up. And do you know how it paid out for Mitch Marner? Not very well, because they traded him to Vegas where he's miserable.
Well, that would be the next school of thought. He doesn't have a huge contract right now, and he certainly doesn't have a no trade clause. So if he told them 4 years ahead of time, they can get what they want out of him for 3 years and then send him to the A's.
And they might do that. That isn't impossible. Like, and let's not act like the A's farm system sucks. The A's actually have some fairly decent prospects.
They need pitching. I mean, they have a pretty decent pop in their lineup. I think got some really young, good players.
If you're the Pirates, you're going to hang on to Paul Skeens until you either have to trade him or he leaves in free agency, but you'd be stupid to let him leave. So trade him while you can. If he's going to leave, trade him in 2029 at the deadline for maybe the biggest return ever.
Well, I don't know, because here's the thing, and I'm not saying you did this, and I know that's not what you said, but if he's already told me that he's not signing in 4 years, I'm trading him right now when he's at the peak of his value, because
and maybe they will.
It can only get worse from here. I mean, he's the best pitcher in baseball right now. Every team would be on the phone. What are you looking to get? What are you looking to get? Because he has 4 years of control left. He would command right now. What you know? What you want, Juan Soto? Take him. We will take Paul Skeens.
And that's another thing. If Paul Skeens actually becomes a free agent, and I don't think he will, because I think he will be traded before his contract's up. That's been my thought this whole time. I think he will get traded, likely to the Yankees, maybe to the Dodgers. The Dodgers have more ammo. The Dodgers have more ammo is the thing, and they're going to have more ammo. The Dodgers naturally just have more ammo than everybody else. That is a natural component of being a superpower in your sport, is you just have more ammo than everybody else at any given time.
Well, we already know they went after Skubal. We already know that.
And they're probably going to get him in either July or the offseason, depending on if the Tigers trade him or not. Which, if the Tigers keep playing the way they have, it might very well be July, because the Tigers might just be out of it.
Ugh, I hate the Yankees and I hate the Dodgers.
Well, both of those teams, it's looking like, I mean, those would be the 2-1 seeds if everything stopped right now.
You know what? And let me even rephrase. I don't hate the teams. I hate everything but the product on the field. I hate everybody else in that organization.
I don't even like the Dodgers product on the field.
I mean,
The Dodgers
I
are
don't
not
have
fun to
anything
watch.
I don't have anything against the players, man. Like, they're trying to get paid and they're trying to
The
win.
only player on the Dodgers I have anything against is Kyle Tucker, because Kyle Tucker did not need to go there at all. That was a pointless move for Kyle Tucker. Shohei, I get it. You get to stay in LA. Mookie got traded there, so how much can you really blame him for going there? But
do you want to talk about the new graveyard?
yeah.
Well, here's the graveyard from last week, and
Spoiler: there's a lot of returning faces.
Yeah, and so what this is these are the worst teams in baseball, and this was after the opening weekend. We had the White Sox, the A's, and the Giants. Now, the White Sox were not the original AL Central representative. It was the Twins on our very first show, and I can show you that graphic. This is what it was before any games were played. We had made this prediction that these are the teams that would be. Boy, I feel really silly about that one in the middle right now, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that, Ben. We got time. And so after the opening weekend, we had to switch the graveyard to these teams. White Sox had a horrible opening weekend. The A's were the only team that did not have a win. And the Giants, wow, they were the most disappointing team because of the roster that they actually have. They were not able to compete opening weekend. So we have come together, Ben and I, and we've looked at everything that happened in week 2, and we've come up with this fact. We need a bigger graveyard. Ben, more teams have died. So
yeah, there's a lot of bad teams. This might expand again.
We got, I don't know that there's, well, I think we could probably fit 2 more teams in the graveyard before it becomes overcrowded. But holy shit, you got Boston. They're the worst fucking team in baseball. They have 1 win. Maybe 2.
Other than maybe the Rockies, who somehow aren't here because they aren't dead last in their division.
Yeah, let's look at the fucking look at these fucking toe jams. 2 and 7.
You remember when the season started and we said the NL West was not at all competitive? How smart do we look right now?
Yeah, pretty smart.
Because the Diamondbacks just gave up 17 runs on, what was that, Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday.
The Padres can't get out of their own way, no matter what they do. No matter how much money they spend, they can't get out of their own way. How does AJ Preller still have a job, by the way?
I don't know. Who do I want?
Rockies?
Go ahead.
The Rockies are what we expected them to be.
They made it out of the graveyard, though.
Can we talk about that Rockies Blue Jays game on Monday? That was just the most bizarre thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, go for it.
I watched this entire game. I did not watch it live because I was watching the Twins game. Or wait, the Twins were over, but I think I was watching a different game. I think I was watching Yankees Mariners. I think that's what it was. Anyway, I watched this game. If you don't know, the Rockies beat the Blue Jays on Monday 15-4. The Blue Jays coming off a World Series, the Rockies coming off a borderline horrible season, historically horrible season. Now, I was trying to figure out why. How did this get so ugly? One, I found out the Blue Jays starting pitching staff has 3 injuries in it right now. Barrios, Yasavage, and one other guy whose name I can't remember, and I'm not going to look it up, is out. They're all out to start the season. So that's a problem. So the Blue Jays start this poor bastard, Cody Ponce. Cody Ponce pitched in the KBO last season. I think you can guess how this is going to go from here. Because when I tell you a guy pitched in the KBO the season before, generally you're not going to expect very much.
Generally.
Am I wrong? Like, you're just not.
No, you're right.
And I really like the KBO. I think the KBO is a lot of fun. But the level's not really all that comparable right now. It's more comparable than it's been. That's for sure. It's a lot closer than it's been, but it's still not that close. Anyway, this poor bastard gets hammered for like 4 innings. He actually looks okay in the first, but beyond that, it was terrible. And then the Blue Jays put their bullpen in, and I don't even know who everybody that was that pitched for the Blue Jays on Monday. But it was like, have you ever watched the movie The Room?
Yes.
With Tommy Wiseau?
Yeah, of course.
I felt the same way watching this game that I felt watching The Room.
Uncomfortable?
It was uncomfortable. It was kind of funny for a while. Okay, so when it was like 10-3 or whatever, I thought it was kind of funny. I thought it was kind of funny at that point. And then the Rockies just kept scoring, and I was like, okay, like. And you want to know the funniest part? If I didn't know the score at the end of the game, if I didn't know the final, if I was watching this live, no matter how far ahead the Rockies got, I would have just assumed they were going to blow it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't see this game. I remember commenting to you that they shellacked them. But yeah, they're still, and then that game is probably what kept them out of the graveyard, if I'm being honest, because they have similar records to teams that are in the graveyard, but their plus-minus differential is why they're not in there. So
they're completely thrown out of whack by the fact that they scored 15 runs in one game.
It was that game, yeah.
And I don't think they've scored 15 runs in every other game this season combined. The Rockies are unwatchable. And you know what? I would like to issue congratulations to a couple guys on the Twins right now. Brooks Lee and Trevor Larnach. Congratulations. You guys are probably joining your old buddy Eddie Julian on the Rockies next year because you both look terrible.
Oh, wow. You're banishing them forthwith from the kingdom of Minnesota?
It's not really a kingdom.
Queendom? What do you...
It's an impoverished settlement.
A dilapidated duplex that is Target Field?
And Target Field's fine. Target Field's not the problem. Okay, look, we're going to talk about your team right after this, but I want to talk about the 2 series my team played this week, and I'm going to keep this really short and really simple.
Let's cue it up.
The Royals series. Let's just get this out of the way. This was horrible. Game 1, I'll give them credit. They were right there to win the game, and then they did the most Minnesota Twins thing you can imagine and blew it. Game 2, they got shellacked 13-1, came back, and the only reason they came back is because it started raining fucking sideways and nobody could pitch straight. And then they did something for the next 2 days I didn't think they would do all year, which is they won 2 games in a row. They did it, Damon. They won 2 in a row.
I was going to say, they had a winning streak in there, Ben. They still ended up in the graveyard. But I
want to remind you, if they did not win those 2 games, they would be on 1 win right now.
Yeah, they would be where the Red Sox are, which is what? The worst team in baseball.
And frankly, I'm going to be honest, other than the Thursday game where they beat Kansas City, the score line is very giving to them for Friday's game. It was 10-4 at the end. But let me tell you, the Rays committed 5 errors in this game, and 2 of them were not counted as errors.
Oh, wow.
The Rays took a 3-0 lead, and then their starter lost control of the ball, and then their defense forgot how to play baseball. And then Tristan Gray, who the Rays DFA'd last year, or at the end of last year, decides he wants to hit a grand slam against them. Tristan Gray, mind you, playing because they've already decided to bench Brooks Lee. You remember Brooks Lee?
Yes.
Was once a top prospect himself, by the way, Brooks Lee.
Good thing he didn't sign an 8-year, $100+ million deal.
Oh my God. I'd tell you to never take him out of the graveyard. I don't care if they win 40 games straight, to never take him out.
I would have to. I mean, 40 games straight. That's pretty good. It's like a
This
record.
team might not. This team would not win 4 games straight. Forget 40.
Oh, I'm gonna hold you to that. I'm gonna hold you to that. The Twins,
if they win
4 games straight,
if they somehow manage to win 4 straight, either Derek Shelton got fired. We were playing the White Sox for 4 games in a row because that's the only team in this division.
You're gonna do that.
That's the only team in the AL that I think might be worse than us.
The Boston Red Sox.
No. They'll sweep us twice. Have you seen our bullpen? Have you seen it?
I have.
Let's go through it. We got Anthony Bonda, who I'm still not sure why the Dodgers traded him. He's pretty good. Cody Funderburk, who every time he comes in the game, I about have a panic attack. Justin Topa, who every time he comes in the game, my mom texts me, I'm not kidding you. My mom texts me every time they put Justin Topa in the game. And I quote, well, we're going to fucking lose.
All right, that's fair.
My mom has been through this before with the Polettes tightening their wallets and doing this
so
pseudo.
She's not a Justin Topa fan, huh?
No. She's also not a fan of Derek Shelton. Not that I blame her. I'm not a fan of Derek Shelton either. You know who else she's not a fan of? And I frankly don't understand this one. She doesn't like Victor Caratini. I want to remind you, Victor Caratini has been here for all of about 2 weeks.
Right. That's not fair.
I don't personally get that. I don't personally get that one. My Twins MVP for the week, it's Josh Bell. Because Josh Bell does not care what team he's on or how bad they are. He is going to do everything in his power to win as many games as possible. And God bless him for it.
Yeah, you need a team of those guys.
Because I don't know if you remember this, but Josh Bell was on some pretty bad Nationals teams that he would just casually win them a game on his own because he can do that.
Dude, speaking of the Nationals, they don't have him anymore. And they sent Dylan Cruz back to AAA.
For what? They're terrible. Who cares?
I know, dude. And
let him struggle. You're not going to win anyway.
They basically have Abrams, and that's it. They're a one-man show right now.
Who, by the way, I like CJ Abrams, but he appears to be in rapid decline.
It's too early for me to say that, but I like him. But he's the only thing that they have right now.
I think Dylan Cruz is going to be really good. I don't know if it's going to be for Washington. I think they might punt on him before he actually ends up being good. Because they've sent him down twice now.
How old is he?
He's not that old. But the Nationals punt on guys quick. That's the only reason I say that. The Nationals are quick to punt on guys.
Dude, he's 24, dude. Like, what are they doing? Let him play.
Like I said, they're going to punt on him. That's my inkling right now is that they're going to punt on him. Same way the Twins are about to punt on Royce Lewis. You want Royce Lewis too?
Yeah.
I mean, he has hot and cold streaks, and he hasn't been very good for a year and a half.
Yeah, I like him. I like him
too, but they're talking about non-tendering him at the end of the year.
That's insane, dude.
I agree.
You guys need to sell your program to somebody that
gives a shit, wants to win.
Yeah.
Knows how to manage a target, perhaps.
So yeah.
So anyway, we lose.
Go ahead.
We lose the last 2 games of this Rays series. Today it went to extras. By the way, the game today, if you ever thought we had a chance of winning that game, you're fucking delusional.
I did not.
If you ever thought, oh, it's 1-1, they're going to the 8th inning, no. No. Oh, they're going
man. I always assume if you guys are in a close game, as soon as your starter goes out, that you're not going to win that game.
Yeah. That's a fair assumption, and I'm sure you've been there with your team a few times where The second your starter leaves, you're like, oh, it's a 1-run game.
Well,
We're going to lose.
We'll get to my team when we're done, whenever you're done.
Yeah, your team's in their own kind of unique, weird spot. Anyway, to sum up the Twins' week, the team performance, I would give an F. Derek Shelton's performance, if I could give it below an F, I would. He is horrible. Fire this man immediately. I don't care that he's only been here for 2 weeks. He had an entire offseason and most of last year because Pittsburgh finally got their freaking heads around the fact that this guy isn't very good at his job in May last year and cut his head off. So do you know what Derek Shelton did for 90% of the year last year? He did the radio. And you know what? He's probably pretty good at it. Do you know why? Because Derek Shelton doesn't shut the fuck up. Anyway, let's talk about the Mariners so I get less pissed off.
Well, I don't know that you being less pissed off is going to make me any more not pissed off than I am, but
that's fair.
I guess pissed off is not even the right word, dude. I'm just like,
we've both had a really bad week baseball-wise.
I'm fucking done, dude. Like, I'm not, but you know what I'm jiving at. Here's the thing, dude.
We're 9 games in, folks. Buckle up.
I'm gonna go backwards. Today, in the first 2 games of the Anaheim series, the Mariners gave up 1 run in regulation
and pitched very well.
And the best pitcher on our roster through 2 weeks of the season is Emerson Hancock, our number 6
and
guy.
he might not be on the roster. And he might not be on the roster in 2 weeks.
That's true. That blows my mind. I would send somebody in the bullpen down and keep him for long relief at least.
I would just run a 6-man rotation at this point. Just run a 6-man rotation.
I don't know that there's 6 guys good enough to do that. We'll have to see how Bryce Miller returns. Logan Gilbert has not looked good in his 2 starts. Castillo, what the hell, dude? So we go 18 innings and we give up 1 run. We were fortunate enough to win one of those games in extra innings. And then today, Castillo doesn't even make it out of the 3rd inning.
I didn't see today's game.
Are you kidding me, dude? Are you kidding me? And like today's game is so frustrating because, and it wasn't even as frustrating as yesterday. You know who this fucking asshole is?
That's Joe Adell.
That's Joe fucking Adell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Yeah. What did he do yesterday? Fucking cocksucker.
Made a very nice catch. He
robbed 3 home runs in a single game.
Yep.
In the 1st inning, he robbed Cal Raleigh of his first home run. In the 6th inning, he robbed Josh Naylor of his first home run. And then in the 9th inning at 1-0, J.P. Crawford, in only his 2nd game back, he robbed J.P. Crawford's 3rd home run. Probably the most impressive of the 3. But this brings up something I want to ask you, Ben. I don't know if you saw it, but the 3rd one, he was running, and you know how in Anaheim, the wall in right field is really short towards the foul pole, like below waist high? Yeah. He jumped in the air. He caught the ball on the other side of the fence and fell over, and they called it out.
That's been an issue in Anaheim before.
So I submit, how in the hell do you catch the ball without any feet on the ground in the field of play and fall over the wall, and that's not a home run? How?
This is why I think we need standardized wall heights in Major League Baseball. With the exception of Fenway Park. I
don't know, though.
Because you can't do it at Fenway.
All right, we have to make an amendment on this. I cannot, for the life of me, go along with having the same dimensions for each ballpark. So if that's
not same dimensions,
okay.
Not
okay.
Just the height of the wall.
Okay, so a minimum.
Right, like a minimum wall height. So Fenway would be fine.
I'm with you on this. I'm actually with you on this.
Except for right field and
'cause
Fenway would be a little shaky.
I love that there's no, like, this is the only field in any sport where they're different everywhere. And you're like, what? How the fuck does that make sense? Right? I like that aspect of it. So I would never want to get rid of that. But if you're talking about something like this that will get rid of this weird rule of you don't even have to have a foot in bounds. I imagine if a wide receiver caught a ball in the end zone and the momentum took him out and they're just like, yeah, touchdown. And that was the difference in the game. I'm not bitching about the rules, but the rule's wrong. The rule's wrong.
I mean, the umpire made the right call if you go by the rule as it is.
I agree.
That was the correct call to make. What's the umpire going to do? Change the rule on the fly? He can't do that. By the way, I do have a whole separate thing on umpires. They have been horrid the last 2 weeks.
Well, we knew we were going to see that based on the new ABS rule. I mean,
no, but CB Buckner is being a real asshole about this whole thing.
All right, do tell.
Because he's acting like he knows everything.
Base.
CB Buckner is a prick, and we've known CB Buckner was a prick. Like, CB Buckner has been a prick that has been known around baseball for a long time. Former executives have said he's a prick. Former umpires say he's a prick. And then this week, he just absolutely flew off the handle a couple of different times in like 2 different games at guys. One of them was for an ABS challenge, which he was wrong in the ABS challenge, by the way. So why the hell he was flying off the handle? And it was like a foot outside, by the way. It was a foot outside. So why are we getting upset about that? And then the second thing, I don't even know why he gets mad at the guy, but like he just gets mad at him mid at bat for no reason and threatens to throw him out of the game. And I think he actually did throw him out of the game.
Okay.
Now, if the guy said something to him, fine. If he said, "Hey, fuck you," whatever.
Well, the only thing that's on my mind while you're talking is the ABS rule, and I fucking hate it. I hate it.
I like it. I think they need to tweak it, but I like it.
Here's what they need to do. They need to let the computer call balls and strikes and just make it go directly to the ump's ear, and the ump calls it whatever it is. That way you never have to challenge it. It's always right.
I told you last week, I think that's what they want to do, but they know they need a new collective bargaining agreement to do that.
End of story. That's what needs to happen because I'm fucking sick of celebrating strikeouts or walks only to have to walk it. Dude, it's the worst.
They're going to change this maybe by the end of the season. There's already talk that they're going to change it. So to be what you're saying. So, but the problem with changing to that at that point is that opens a can of worms that I'm not sure anybody wants opened, which is, who's to say they're not going to do that for out calls at first base?
I mean,
I don't think you could do it at any of the other bases just because there needs to be a tag and that gets really tricky. But
if they don't have the same kind of technology for that as they do home plate. But here's the thing. The only thing I love the traditional aspects of the game, which is like the weird field shapes. The human eye makes mistakes. I like that aspect of the game. And if you're giving the ump the read from the computer, it still appears that way to me. I just know that it's not wrong. And I never have to be like, oh, he's trying to screw him over, or he doesn't like this player, or it was paid. You don't have to worry about any of that. And it still looks authentic. Like
but what I worry about with the thing in the ear, what I worry about is, how are we sure these guys are going to be able to hear it? What happens if they can't hear it? Because it gets pretty loud in some of these playoff stadiums.
Yeah, I mean,
unless it's just a beep. If it's a beep, then I think you could get away with it.
Left, right. Ball
maybe
strike,
beep,
ball strike.
Beep and right for strike, beep and left for ball. You'd have to do something like that. But here's what I really, really wish MLB would get on these umpires about. So do you know when there's like a challenge call at one of the bases?
Yeah.
You know how they're requiring the umpires to come on the mic and announce it now?
Yeah.
They should require them to explain why they're changing the call like they do in the NFL. If they're going to do this, just do what the NFL does and require the umpire to explain the call. Because right now they're not doing that.
Well, I mean, can you give me a better example? Because I'm like, if a guy beats a throw out at first and he gets called out, and the guy just comes on and goes, the call's been reversed. Clearly, they're saying that he beat it. And
in situations like that, I'm more referencing for like there was a situation in the Friday game in Minnesota. The shift situation. Did you see this?
No, I did not.
Ben Williamson gets called for an illegal shift, but he gets called on the replay for it.
Okay. Oh, wow.
When they call this, though, the umpire comes on the mic and just says the fielder was in an illegal position, the runner is safe.
All right. Yeah, I could see where you'd want a little more explanation than that.
Like, if a call gets overturned in the NFL, let's say they're reviewing that if a receiver has 2 feet in bounds. Here's how they'd explain it in the NFL. The ruling on the field stands as called. The receiver did not have 2 feet in bounds. Therefore, there is no catch.
Or they could even say the wide receiver caught the ball in bounds, but his momentum took him out of bounds, did not have 2 feet down, incomplete.
Right. They explain it a little more. Now, some of that comes from the fact that I think most of these NFL referees have a slight bit more respect for the game that they officiate than these baseball umpires. The vast majority, on average.
Right.
And I think that is because, and we've known this for a while, and me and you have talked about this before, baseball has an image problem that they have not been able to get rid of. And some of that comes from the fact that they're not marketing any of their guys very well.
They're really not. We've had this conversation before. Like this guy in the middle here, Pete Crow Armstrong, he should be
everywhere.
Video game covers. He should be in commercials. This guy is the future of the Cubs. And the Cubs are like one of the main stay teams from the era. And
now they don't spend money.
And then you have a failing organization like the NBA, and everyone knows who LeBron James is. And if you want to even make it worse, everybody knows who Michael Jordan was, and he hasn't touched a basketball floor in 3 decades.
Do you want to know what I think the problem is? I don't think Major League Baseball cares about their marketing.
You know what? I wish you could have it both ways. Because I really wish you could just be like, look, this is America. This is what we do. Like, we don't need to fucking build it up.
But you can't do that.
It is awesome.
You can't do that anymore.
I know.
30 years ago, you could do that. 30 years ago, in the 90s, you could get away with that easy until the 94 strike. And then they had to market. And what did they do? They pivoted and they marketed off McGuire. And that kind of bit him in the neck because the steroid scandal happened. But a lot of people kept watching after that. Well, more people than kept watching after the 94 strike.
Well, 94 strike killed baseball. Like it
yes.
took a dying thing and stuck a knife in it. And then, I know that you hate the steroid era, but without that, we don't get the summer of 1998, which put baseball back on planet Earth and made it a thing that people could get into and like enjoy again. And God damn it, I hate that it sounds like I'm advocating for drug use and cheating. I'm not. But I also remember my kid sitting on my lap. She was like not even 2 years old, and we're like sitting there watching baseball all summer long. And just like even if we were watching something else, they would show Mark McGwire's at bat, Sammy Sosa's at bat. They would change to the live at bats. It's just like baseball's back, and they didn't run with it. They had an opportunity then to like make a strategic change with the marketing, and they didn't. So it just kind of it's hovering around, and I'm fearful that if this lockout at the end of this season goes anywhere into the season, and we have another 94 or 2020 season, it's going to be.
Need I remind you, the 2020 season was commercially, if you just look at the people who watched the games on TV, because nobody could go to games anyway, the 2020 season was the least watched season since the first year after the strike.
Right.
Think about that. The least watched season since the year after the strike was 2020. And I get it, 2020 is kind of a black hole.
Right.
2021 happens. Some people come back, but there were ballparks that were full before the pandemic that just weren't full anymore.
Right.
And some of those ballparks haven't been full since. Whether it's because the team isn't very good, the team priced themselves out of the market, which we're seeing less and less teams do now. I think more teams are starting to realize, okay, we need to make this more affordable. Except the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Mets, who don't have a single flying fucking clue why their stadium's half empty half the time.
Yeah, dude, that's why it was so cool to me when, what was it, 2017, when Kansas City just came out of nowhere. And
2015, you mean?
Yeah, 2015. And took the World Series. That was awesome.
That needs to happen again to get people back. I legitimately think we need another Kansas City, and it doesn't even have to be Kansas City specifically. It needs to be a team like a Kansas City, a team that plays like that 2015 Royals team. Because remember, that 2015 Royals team, they weren't hitting a lot of home runs. They were doing it the old-fashioned way.
No, Ned Yost. That's who you guys should get for a manager. Ned Yost.
I don't think Ned Yost wants to coach anymore, and frankly, I don't blame him.
I don't either. He has nothing to prove to anybody. Talk about a guy that's a better coach than player, though.
Oh my gosh, there's quite a few of them. Joe Girardi, anybody?
Yeah.
The one guy who you could argue was a better player than coach was Don Mattingly.
Oh yeah, Don Mattingly.
In terms of success.
Even
though I think Don Mattingly was a good manager.
I do too.
Who just took terrible jobs over
Don
and over
Mattingly
again.
should be in the fucking Hall of Fame. I'm sorry.
Yes, he should. And we had this conversation after the show last week.
Unbelievable.
Pete Rose, Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, Roger Clemens. None of those guys need to be in the Hall of Fame. You know who needs to be in the Hall of Fame? Fucking Don Mattingly.
Yeah. I would put Donnie Baseball in before any of those guys, but
I would put Donnie Baseball in ahead of Derek Jeter.
Whoa, Jeter's in already though. So,
well, Mattingly was also eligible before Jeter. That's most of the reason.
For sure.
Mattingly should have gone in second or third ballot and didn't go in at all. So. And probably won't go in until he dies when he can't give his acceptance speech.
So if we're denying all these people like Barry Bonds and Alex Rodriguez and those,
I wouldn't have put Jeter in there either.
Why can't we put a Felix Hernandez in?
Because the Baseball Writers Association does not like Felix Hernandez.
Why is that?
Fucking got me, bud. I'd put Felix in.
He jumped a ton this year. And he's still got 3 years of eligibility left. I'm hopeful.
I'm hopeful, but not optimistic. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's where I'm at. If he gets up to in the 60s next year, I'll be very optimistic.
Next year's ballots next year's ballot's pretty loaded. I don't know. Next year's first years are crazy. So,
yeah, go ahead.
I want your opinion on this.
All right.
For these nationally televised games, like the ones we get on Fox and NBC every week, can we agree that NBC is just better at this?
Yes.
Like,
100%.
they're just better. They're just better.
100%. ESPN
because
they blew it and they knew it, dude.
Because even in tonight's game, Jason Benetti still treated this game like it mattered. Adam Ottavino treated this game like it mattered. And what a smart hire Adam Ottavino looks like right now.
Yeah, for sure.
He just made a bunch of NBC execs look really smart for 3 weeks. Now, could this whole thing fall apart and turn into a Jim Nantz, Tony Romo situation? Yes, it could. Do I think it will? No. Because NBC has dumb luck with these kinds of things. They lucked into Al Michaels and John Madden in the 2000s. And then they got even luckier when it became Tirico and Collinsworth, who I think are probably the most universally well-liked duo in all of professional sports in terms of commentary. Like, there is not a duo that is more just universally liked than Tirico and Collinsworth. They are loved pretty much, period, with very few exception. And those two guys get along. And Tirico is probably the best in the business at what he does. And that doesn't hurt. And ESPN fumbled Tirico because they let him go for nothing when they could have probably offered the guy a pay cut and he would have stayed. But instead, they just let him walk out the door, didn't offer him a contract extension. He goes to NBC, and now he's probably one of the 5 or 6 more recognizable sports broadcasters in America.
Yep. And I like ESPN, but
I don't.
They failed. And here's the thing, Ben. You don't have, and this is not even your fault, but I grew up with.
I don't like current ESPN. I like old ESPN.
That's what I'm getting at. I grew up with Dan Patrick, Stuart Scott,
Olbermann.
I mean, the greats, and you could watch SportsCenter every night, and it was electric. Stuart Scott, oh my God, dude! Those old days were great. They're like they've become the NBA. Like, they still have a product that everybody recognizes, and it's glossy and glitzy, but it sucks by comparison to the 80s.
I think the ESPN problem is very reminiscent of the NBA problem.
Yeah.
But not in the way you pointed out. I think the way that the NBA has gotten itself into this situation is interesting because it's kind of the same way, in a weird way, Major League Baseball got itself into a pickle post 2020. These players, some of them just come across as really selfish. I'm looking at you, Russell Westbrook. You too, Kevin Durant. Oh, and definitely you, Anthony Davis.
Okay. I was like, are you going to touch yourself on this one, or are you just going to beat me up?
There are very few NBA players I don't think are selfish. I do not think Damian Lillard is selfish. I think Damian Lillard has been misguided a few times, and that has led him to looking kind of selfish occasionally.
Yeah. And that one, I'll never get over that, but I'd like to see
the fact that he left Portland only to have it blow up in Milwaukee and then him scurry back to Portland. That's a weird situation.
I mean, put yourself in my shoes, dude. He is my player. And Griffey Jr. was my player. Did the same thing.
Yes, but Damian Lillard had notably less success than Griffey did. When he left, I mean, when Griffey left.
Do you think?
I
Because
do.
I feel like Lillard was constantly in the Western Conference Finals. Griffey never made it to the ALCS.
The Eastern Conference Finals, I mean?
No, I mean with Portland. With Portland.
I'm talking after Griffey left. He had more success than Lillard after Lillard left.
There was more years. I mean, he was only with Milwaukee 2 seasons, and he was injured for 90% of it. Same with Griffey in Cincinnati. But I don't know. He came back. He's not able to play this year.
I don't know that he ever plays again.
Yeah, will he ever be the same? I mean,
will he ever play again is like a legitimate question.
I don't think that's a question, but what level? I mean, he's just aging now.
I mean, he was aging when he left, to be fair. Yeah, and guys that size do not age well, generally. Steph Curry is an anomaly.
Yeah.
Back to baseball, though. Yeah. How fun, speaking of guys on the screen on the bottom here, how fun is Pete Crow Armstrong to watch play baseball?
He is he's a light, man. He's a shining light in the league. And we got
in a league.
We did talk about Connor.
Yeah.
But we did not talk about Colt Emerson yet.
Mostly because he hasn't made his debut yet, and I don't know when he will. I presume it'll be next month. That's my assumption. And if the Mariners keep playing like they have, it might be sooner.
So we told you Connor Griffin signed a 9-year, $140 million, and that was a great deal. This gentleman was the number 5 prospect in baseball. He just signed an 8-year deal for $95 million, which to me is like, that's insanity. That's an insane deal for the Mariners' future shortstop. And I do agree. I think he comes up in April or May, early May.
If you keep hitting like you are, it will be about 2 weeks from today that I think he comes up. Because I think they're going to try this for another 2 weeks, and if it doesn't work and JP Crawford can't get the bat going, I think that's when they pull the trigger and call Emerson up and sit JP down and say, look, dude, we got to rip the Band-Aid off here.
Well, JP's not going down.
No, JP's not going down, but he's going to get benched.
But here's the thing. He injured his shoulder, and he wasn't with the club to start the year, and he's only played now 2 or 3 games, and he's been hitting better than everybody else.
Well, they better hope he keeps that going, and he better hope he keeps that going because his job is in immediate jeopardy.
I think he knows that. He's actually currently the longest tenured Mariner on the roster. He's been with the team longer than anybody else.
You guys got him when you were bad, like really bad.
He's the clubhouse leader, and he knows what's coming. The writing's on the wall. He's in. I don't want to say he's in a decline, but he's one of those players that's very spotty. Is he going to have the 2023 year or the 2024 year? You know, it's like which JP Crawford are you going to get this year? And so far, he's been an upgrade over Leo Rivas, which is not a huge surprise.
I thought Leo Rivas was really fun for the first 6 games.
You know,
and beyond that, not much.
He gets some timely hits. He really does.
He's got some energy to him.
He's not a great defender, no matter where you put him. So
that's what JP has over him, and that's why they brought JP back the way they did, as quickly as they did. I do
wonder, Ben, when they pull the, as you say, proverbial Band-Aid off, and Colt Emerson's the starting shortstop, and JP's searching for at bats. I do wonder how that's gonna go down, but
because here's why I say rip the Band-Aid off, because they're not calling Colt Emerson up to put him on the bench. They're not doing that.
No.
The Mariners organization, for their faults, and you would acknowledge they have a few, They're not doing something that stupid for a guy they just gave $95 million.
Yeah. So they did that with Harry Ford. They called him up and he was a bench player throughout the playoffs, which is interesting to me because then we ended up trading him, of course, to Washington, who is in the graveyard, and he's in AAA. He's not even.
I was going to say, I don't even think he's playing for Washington.
He's not even in their top 3 catchers. What are they doing?
The Nationals are.
Why did you trade to make him a centerpiece? And then when he was already on a major league team during the playoffs last year, and you bench him to start the year, whatever.
Look, there are 5 teams in Major League Baseball who will never understand what they're doing. There are 5 teams who will never get it. The Pirates, they'll never get it. They've never got it. Even when they were winning the World Series, that one year they didn't get it. They lucked into that. The Marlins, who have lucked into 2 of them, they don't get it. I will acknowledge, though, the Marlins are really, really fun to watch right now.
I agree.
They're one of the stories of the first couple weeks, but they'll never get it. The third one, the A's. Need I say anymore?
I mean, yeah.
4, my team, the Twins. Never going to get it. They've never gotten it. Any success this team has had has been because the prospects brute force success, and then ownership has to spend money. That's the only reason we had success in the 2000s. That's the only reason we had success in 2023. And that's the only reason we're ever going to have success again.
Yeah. So, okay. Do you know who Evan White is?
I do know who Evan White is, yes.
Yeah, he was the first of these types of contracts. And I believe it was 5 years, 80 million, something like that, the Mariners gave him. And
it didn't pan out.
He was out of the league before the 5 years was up.
Yeah.
He still made
it really didn't.
And he bounced around. He never, I mean, I think he won a Gold Glove in his first year.
Yeah.
At first base, but he never could connect the bat with the ball. And that seemed to be his issue everywhere. And the Mariners chalked it up. And they offered Jared Kelenic a similar contract, which he did not accept. Kelenic decided to bet on himself. And he would.
How'd that pay off there, Jared?
Yeah, I'm glad that he turned the Mariners down on that one because, well, he's in AAA as well right now.
For Atlanta, I believe.
In like his 27-year season. So, no, I don't think he's that old. I think he's 25, maybe. But anyway, so these contracts can go wrong, and they have gone wrong for the very team that I love in the Mariners.
And it could go wrong for the Pirates. Look, we're praising Connor Griffin right now, but there's every chance this kid doesn't work out. He's 19. He could fall out of love with baseball by the time he's 24.
I think that's a stretch, but hold on. Like, what area are you comfortable with him producing at where you're like, okay, well, that's the deal that we should have given him?
If he does for the Pirates what Byron Buxton did for the Twins early on, where he was producing but not consistently, I think the Pirates will be okay with this deal. If he turns out to be Jared Kelenic, what a disaster.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Jared Kelenic could play for 4 lifetimes and not deserve $140 million.
I'm not sure Connor Griffin works out. I'm not sure Colt Emerson works out. Frankly, these baseball prospects are a lottery 100% of the time. They're always a lottery. Even the number 1 prospect, it's a lottery. There are very few sure things, and the ones people say are sure things aren't usually always sure things.
So let me ask you this. Just generally, are you for or against this type of deal where they get the money before they even played?
I'm not for it before they play a game. I'm for it if they have, even if they come up and then go back down again, but they show promise in that first stint, that's when I'm for it.
All right, so Julio's deal. Julio came up, played a year. They gave him a 14-year deal for $240. That seems to me like a freaking steal of all steals for the Mariners.
I texted you when it happened that I thought it was a steal.
Yeah. And so you would. Well, here's the thing. Here's what happens. What this does is baseball is unlike any other sport where you have years of control of players.
Yep. And by the way, I think that's going away with this new CBA. Some of that is going away. It's going to be 3 years. It's going to be 3 years. It's going to be 3 years in the majors.
Because
baseball, 3 years of service time.
Let me talk. It's going to put a situation where you're putting players in the majors before they're ready. Because we know with baseball, like Connor Griffin is 19. He's an exception to the rule. Most of these kids need like 20, 21, 22, even 23 and 24. And a lot of guys don't even hit like their main stride, like Cal Raleigh, until he's 28 years old. So if you only have these guys for 3 years, you're either going to lose players that are great before you know they're great, or you're going to end up expediting a process that has taken years traditionally.
It's not going to be 3 years.
I hate it.
It's not going to be 3 years in the organization. They're still going to have basically however long it takes to develop these guys in the minors. I'm saying 3 years of service time is what it's going to end up being. But then you're going to see a whole different type of service time manipulation where guys will play great in their second season or their third season for an entire year and then get sent down for the last 2 weeks. Like, you're going to see that happen.
Right. And that's even what I'm saying, because let's say that Colt Emerson was on the cusp of coming up this year, but you're like, we'd really sure like to see another year down just to see what we got before we waste a year of control time of those 3 years after he's played in a major league game. Like, that's going to keep a lot of teams holding players back, and that's going to piss off a lot of players, and it's going to cause it's already kind of does that with the current system. But signing a deal like this makes that irrelevant. Like, he signed an 8-year deal, so he could come up tomorrow and it doesn't affect anything. But like, if you didn't have this deal in place and he comes up and plays 3 or 4 games and you're like, oh my God, that was a terrible idea, and then he goes back down for the remainder of the season, you've lost a year of.
No, that's not how it works. That might change, but here I've got the rule right in front of me. This is from MLB.com. Service time. Here's how it works. Each major league regular season, and I'm quoting this directly, each major league regular season consists of 187 days, typically 183 days prior to 2018. And each day spent on the active roster or injured list earns a player 1 day of service time. That's the major league roster.
Okay.
Any player who violates MLB's Joint Drug Prevention and Treatment Program doesn't receive service time during their suspension, unless the suspension is reduced by 20 or more games under the policy, whatever. A player is deemed to have reached 1 year of service time upon accruing 172 days of a major league season on the active roster. So it's 172 days, okay, which is why we don't see guys getting called up until the end of April most of the time.
So they can't hit that.
Right. So they can't get that first year right away.
Well, now you start to see what all the players get pissed off about.
I think this rule is changing, by the way.
Yeah, no, that's what we're talking about. I wonder oh man.
I don't even know how you could change that as the thing.
Here's the thing that I wish I knew about the CBA, whatever coming up. I wish I knew what the problems were and who it was that had the problem. I wish I knew all, like, the complete list.
The core problem is money. That's right. The core problem of all of these labor negotiations in any field. It doesn't even just have to be sports, any field where there's a union involved.
But
the
that could
core
be
issue is
anywhere from distribution of money to the teams, from contracts to individual players, and so like, I mean, it's
right.
money all the way around, but like, there's more than
The
just,
owners want a salary cap and players don't.
right.
I fall in the middle. I want a salary floor, not a cap.
I'm with you 100%. But I'm also, if that's the case, I want revenue from the market, for the television market, to be split evenly amongst the teams like it is in the NFL.
But if they're going to do the floor, I do not think there should be a cap. I think there should be a point of salary that these teams reach, like the Dodgers, like the Yankees, where once you reach a certain point, it becomes exorbitantly more expensive. And the luxury tax goes up dramatically. Because right now, the luxury tax is based on how many years you're in the luxury tax. It should not be like that. It should be, if you are spending $400 million on your roster, you will pay $100 million in the luxury tax. That's what it should be. It should be a set amount.
I don't like how the NBA does it.
The NBA does it better than the NFL does.
You think so? I don't like
max
contracts. I don't like that at all.
I don't think we're going to get max contracts in baseball. Look, if they're going to do a cap, it's either going to be what I just said of, at a certain point, the luxury tax just goes out of control, or like it's going to be $90 million on the luxury tax, or you could do a cap, but you could do a soft cap, which is kind of what the NBA does. Not really. The NBA has a hard cap too. They have a soft cap and a hard cap. So what I think they should do is do a salary floor of $150 million. I think that should be the floor, because that keeps everybody at least. You think 200?
Yeah, dude. I mean,
do you know how many teams?
Have one guy in your team making $60 million. Yeah, you got to have a floor of 200. Like, you should not own a team if you're not willing to spend $200 million to put a team on the field. That's just absurd, dude.
Because here's the thing, I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna pull up the payrolls in Major League Baseball right now.
This will be
Thank you to Spot Track for this, and I'm gonna go in order. And this is not counting the luxury tax, by the way. So with the luxury tax, some of these teams go up way higher than what I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
The Mets have the highest payroll right now, pre-luxury tax, at $333 million. The Yankees are at $302 million. The Dodgers are at $294 million with an asterisk, because technically they're at like roughly $350, because they've got a bunch of deferred money. And some of that deferred money actually kicks in next year. Which is why they're going to be at $325 million next year. The Blue Jays are at $285 million. Remember when everybody accused the Blue Jays of not spending money? I think that time is gone.
They have not wisely spent their money, in my opinion. But
no, I mean, not really. There's a bunch of teams hovering around the 250 mark. Houston is at 249. Atlanta's at 267. Philly's at 277. Then, if you wanted to set the floor at 200 million, would you like to hear the teams that would be below that?
I know I am.
The Rangers, I'm kind of surprised they're below it. I think they're only below it this year because they got rid of Simeon. The Angels, the Orioles, the Mariners, the Royals, the Reds, which for how good the Reds look, that's kind of a surprise. The Rockies, who shockingly have $116 million on their payroll right now. How? The Brewers at $111 million, the Twins at $102, the Pirates at $101, and the Rays also at $101 million. The following teams have sub $100 million payrolls, and you can probably guess who these people are. The A's, the Cardinals, Although the Cardinals spend money. To be fair, let's be fair to the Cardinals here. This is not a situation of them refusing to spend money. This is a situation of they're in a transition year and don't have anybody to spend money on. The Nationals, the White Sox, the Guardians, and the Marlins. Shockingly, the Guardians and the Marlins are both sub $85 million on their payroll for their entire team.
How?
Because the Guardians are paying one guy and the Marlins aren't paying anybody.
The Guardians split with us in 4 games to open the season.
The Guardians do this thing called they're a prospect fucking juggernaut. They develop prospects better than just about anybody. Look at their track record. And that's been the case for about the last 2 decades, that they just develop guys better than everybody else.
What's Seattle? Like 175?
Seattle is at 162.
So disappointing, dude.
It is and it isn't. I mean, you're in the top half of the league. That's the thing. You're in the top half of the league.
Yeah, well, you gotta.
But you also have to recognize the bottom half is really, really bad. Because of the teams below you, which is Kansas City, Cincinnati, Colorado, Milwaukee, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Tampa, the A's, St. Louis, Washington, Chicago, Cleveland, Miami, you're better than all of them.
Right.
By a wide mark. Other than Kansas City.
Make an argument to fire Jerry DiPoto. I don't have one.
No, neither do I.
Dumb.
With the budget he's been given, because he does not determine the budget. Jerry DiPoto is given a number that he can spend.
Right.
And that's the number. They say you can spend $170 million this year. And he probably wants it a little below that so he can make when the season starts. So if he wants to make moves in July, he can.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure
if he wants to.
He's like, how can I get money? Do I have to risk giving up Castillo 2 years before his contract is over? That would bring you $24 million back.
I mean, this guy is juggling a circus. I don't know how Jerry DiPoto.
He is awesome with the draft, and they've got awesome coaches in development down there in Tacoma and Modesto. They're really good.
I do not know if there's a better general manager in baseball in a worse situation than Jerry DiPoto.
Yeah, I agree. And
Jerry DiPoto is in
on the line from the fans.
He is in an awful situation in Seattle. Awful. The ownership is damn near strangling him every week, probably. And he's like, trust me, trust me, trust me. And he just constantly has to tell them, trust me, because that's how these situations go when you have an owner like yours. That is how these things go. I know how the owners like the one you have operate. He is after Jerry DiPoto's ass every week, trying to think of a reason to fire him, and just can't do it.
Well, and here's the thing. John Stanton is his name. And the Mariners are the most profitable organization in baseball for like the last 5 years. Now, it doesn't mean that they make the most money. It just means versus what's spent versus what's made, they have the highest margin.
And the Cubs are in the top 5, by the way.
Yeah, in all of baseball. And given the fact that we were 6 outs away from the World Series last year, and the money that came in based on the postseason, I was hoping that would result in a change of heart from management. Be like, oh my God, we could make so much more money if we win.
If we just spend $50 million more, we could.
Yeah, but it hasn't resulted in that.
Did you guys spend anything other than to bring Naylor back? Did you guys spend any money?
No.
And even Naylor, they didn't give that much of an increase to.
No,
Naylor didn't get that.
He came back on a really friendly deal. 5 years, I think 65. This is insane. Yeah. They were too cheap to pay Gino. I get that. You traded for Brendan Donovan, which looks brilliant. Jerry Dipoto looks absolutely brilliant for that deal. And
you gave up nothing basically for Brendan Donovan.
And then you traded Harry Ford, which is, I mean, he's not even in the organization. He's not even in the roster for Washington. So
you look moderately intelligent for that because he didn't even make the roster in Washington.
And then you sign Colt Emerson to this huge deal before he's played a game. And I just think that this combination of moves, I mean, obviously success of the team pending, it's going to either sink or he's going to either sink or he's going to rise above, you know? So
now, worth noting, after this year, you do have a projected $61 million coming off the books.
Yeah, that would be Castillo. But here's the other thing. You got Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Brian Wu, Bryce Miller, Emerson Hancock, all without a deal. You got to keep those guys.
All of the guys you just listed, who are you paying first?
My first paycheck goes to Brian Wu.
I agree.
It killed me to say that because Logan Gilbert has been your opening day starter for 3 of the last 4 years.
And Logan Gilbert really wants to be a Mariner.
He does.
Like,
I love him.
That dude wants to be in Seattle.
He's got to be better. And I think Logan's my second, then George Kirby, Bryce Miller. And I know that you're like, pay Hancock now. And he certainly looks like the part. He certainly looks like the part.
You've got a ton of control left on him. I wouldn't pay him right now.
Yeah. So that's good. I mean, but the guys coming up, Logan and Wu, they need to get paid. And here's what I would do. I'd bring them all in the same room and say, guys, this is the purse.
We're going to offer you all 10-year identical contracts.
There you go. 10 years. This is the amount.
And you're all going to make a shit ton of money. And if I'm the Mariners, do you know what the smartest thing the Mariners could do? They would say, oh, and we're going to make sure we get you an X amount of commercials every year for X amount of dollars on top of this.
You think about this. They're making like pennies right now. I think Bryce Miller's $2 million. Just be like 10 years, 175. Are you signing it? That's $17 million a year, bro. Like $17.5 million a year. That's guaranteed.
I think the only one of your staff that may be worth more than that $17.5 million a year ultimately is Brian Wu.
Yeah, I agree.
And you may have to, of the guys that you're listing here, the one who I think is going to get the biggest check either from you or from somewhere else is Brian Wu. He's going to get paid. I mean, this guy's going to get a $200 million contract.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Do I need to see all those guys? No, I have Cade Anderson and Ryan Sloan.
They're not going to sign all 5 of those guys. If you had to get rid of 2 of them, who are you getting rid of? You're probably trading Emerson.
Ask me that.
You probably trade Emerson.
I love Bryce Miller, but he'd have to be one because he's injured and he's a number 4 or 5 guy in the rotation. So that
in a good situation, he's the number 4 or 5 guy. He's the Twins' number 1 starter right now.
And then I would ride Hancock and then trade him at peak value.
Yep.
And just hope that he sucks for somebody else.
And just hope you trade him somewhere like Miami where he's going to suck.
See, if we could sign Logan Gilbert, Brian Wu, and George Kirby, which I don't think. I think 2 of those is probably the most that we get. And then you have Cade Anderson and Ryan Sloan. You're going to be a good pitching staff for a really long time. But
if both those guys work out.
I don't envy Jerry Dipoto's job when it comes to managing the low amount of money that we're getting. Because it's not like you have a salary cap that goes like the boss should be like, okay, we're going to spend $12 million more this year. Every year he should do that.
Unless the team is really bad. Unless they're really bad.
Dude, yeah, but 6 outs away from the World Series, you got to put a little more money in.
Okay, can I offer a hypothetical to you?
Yeah.
What if the Mariners underperform this year? Let's say you go to the division series and go out in 5 to whoever.
Well, that's certainly a possibility, dude. But
Does Dipoto get fired?
No, I think to me, as long as he's in the playoff, I keep in mind, dude, Dipoto's been there through 3 of 5 years missing the postseason by 1 game. 1 game. And
Dude, how has this guy not had a heart attack? I'm going to be real. How has this dude not had a heart attack?
I think
Can we get a wellness check on Jerry Dipoto?
We probably both have. But this is the thing. The fans all want him fired because they don't understand he's not in control of the purse. I mean, he's in control of the purse, but he can't write a check to the bank for more cash. He can't go to the ATM and take out money for the purse. He has to spend what's in there and manage that and keep a team not only competitive on the field, but all the behind the scenes, farm system absolutely stacked, which he's done. Fans need to just shut up and accept that Jerry Dipoto.
If you guys miss the playoffs this year by 1 game again, first of all, you're going to have a goddamn heart attack.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Second of all, Jerry Dipoto is going to get fired.
I don't know.
And that's going to be a disaster.
Yeah, and here's the thing. When you're talking about firing Jerry Dipoto, you know what instantly comes to my mind? It's not the fucking major league team. It's the farm team that is going to suffer because he has us as number 1, number 2, top 3 every year that he's been here.
He fixed your farm system.
I think about Felton and Celestin. He's 3 or 4 years away from becoming a shortstop. So if Colt Emerson doesn't work out, this kid, I mean, they're obviously going to have to shift him to second base or third base maybe because Cole Young is absolutely turning into a stud, dude. Absolutely. He had a 3-run home run today that actually gave the Mariners a chance to win the game. And he's the number 1 defensive player in baseball after 10 games with plus 5
That's the guy you probably should have given that Colt Emerson contract to.
Well, here's the thing. We got Brendan Donovan from the Cardinals, right? And you remember how everybody was trying to get Marte from the Diamondbacks?
So were you, and they wanted Cole Young.
Yeah. And Jerry Dipoto said, I am not trading Cole Young. You're out of your fucking mind. And they're like, it's Ketel Marte. MVP candidate every year. He's like, no, I'm not trading.
I think,
our second base.
And I legitimately think this. I don't think the deal would have gotten done, but I think the Diamondbacks would have gotten a better response if they said they wanted Brian Wu. And the deal still wouldn't have happened, but they would have gotten a lot better response, I think.
Yeah, because second base has been contentious for us since Robinson Cano left. Let's be honest.
Right. It's been a revolving door.
When you have somebody that's this good coming up, you're like, dude, he's there for 10 years. He fills the gap there for 10 years with power and Gold Glove defense. So
do you know why I think your owner got a slightly complacent, at least this year?
Because he's a fucking billionaire.
Well, that's the first thing. The second thing is he's probably thinking, we paid Julio. We have this pitching staff that is otherworldly, and Jerry Boy has the farm system in a place that we never thought it would be in. Are you sure that thought didn't cross the owner's mind?
Well, I do think Jerry is shooting himself in the foot by having such a good farm system because...
Oh, he's killing himself.
The owner can look at that and be like, well, we don't have to sign him because we got this guy coming up. So, yeah, I mean, it's sickening, dude.
See, the Twins got away with not spending money in the 2000s because they had the farm system to make up for it. They don't have that anymore, but they're acting like they do. James? Oh, you're back. Hi.
What happened?
I don't know. Did you hear anything I just said?
Yeah, but I was talking, so I was like, you didn't hear me?
No.
So I was like, do you want to hear about a deal?
Yes.
here's the deal for you. Julio Rodriguez. All right, and this is Jerry DiPoto's work. $210 million, 14 years. That's $15 million a year for Julio Rodriguez. All right.
Yep.
And of course, he can do enough to get up to 16 years and make like $470 million, but you'd have to absolutely be the best, like Shohei Ohtani player to do that. Now listen to this. Cal Raleigh, runner-up MVP.
Have you paid him yet?
60 home runs. Yeah, we signed him to a 6-year deal before last season. You know what that 6-year deal was, Ben?
What?
Dude, you're going to be like, Jerry fucking DiPoto. All right, Cal Raleigh, 6-year extension, $105 million.
What?
17.5 a year.
You gave him pennies.
You have 2 superstars on this team for what you could still get $18 million from Juan Soto and have both of those players. That's crazy, dude. That's Jerry DiPoto. That's Jerry DiPoto.
What a madman. By the way, I don't think Jerry DiPoto will ever get fired, but I do think he will die on the job of a fucking heart attack one of these times. Yeah. When the fucking owner walks in there and says, Jerry, we're cutting the budget by $20 million. We're doing what?
Yeah. He's like, Jerry, you need to find yourself $20 million because I found another yacht that I want.
And then Jerry will just have a fucking heart attack and die. And then you won't have a general manager anymore.
You know what I like about Jerry DiPoto? I think he like, it's a sickness for him. Like he's sitting there at home right now going, like, what can I do in like 3 years to like really, he's good, dude. He's really good at what he does. And I love it. And I can't even believe that fans are like, fuck Jerry DiPoto. I was like, dude, you're insane.
And what a fine Dan Wilson was for your manager.
Yeah. He was an interim too.
That was an inspired hire.
Yeah. And he's like, hey, Edgar, you played with me for a long time. Do you want to be my hitting coach? He's like, yeah, but let's get Kevin Seitzer as well. Okay. So, and then we'll have Ichiro be our outfield coach and Pete Woodsworth be our pitching coach, who's, in my opinion, one of the best in the business. It's a good organization right now, and I'm really upset that they're underperforming because, I know it's early, and they usually catch fire, but Jesus Christ.
Here's the thing.
I'm tired of watching this bullshit.
Are you past the pinching yourself of, is this real phase yet? Or?
Well, no, because every fucking April, I come back down to earth and watch them be like the worst team for April. And then they have the entire summer that they have to spend being exceptional just to not make the playoffs by a game. That happened 3 out of 5 years, dude.
And it could happen this year.
It could happen this year.
It legitimately... This isn't impossible. People want to act like it's impossible. I don't think it is.
It's... you say baseball doesn't have parity, and I agree with you for the most part. But it's also a game where any team could beat any team on any given day. It's just weird.
Look at the World Series last year. That series had no right to go 7 games because if you look at the talent disparity between the Dodgers and the Blue Jays last year, it was a cavern separating them, and the Dodgers only barely won the series. Yeah. By the way, I think this run we're seeing from the Dodgers right now is them pissed off that it took them 7 games to put out the Blue Jays last year. And I think this is going to go for the entire year, and they're going to win a stupid amount of games, and they're probably going to go back to the World Series, and they're probably going to win again.
Well,
and I'll go on a rant. And I'll go on a rant about the lack of parity because it'll probably be not Mariners. It'll probably be Yankees, Dodgers with the Mariners missing the playoffs by a game. And I'll just be pissed off for a month straight, and the playoffs will be miserable because it'll be all these teams that make it every year, plus maybe one fun team that we can all root for. And that's all it'll be. And then we're not going to have baseball next year.
Well, God, man, you're making me depressed. I need to sleep after this, Ben. I can't be depressed. All right.
Tell me I'm wrong about anything I just said being a possibility.
Well, I'll tell you what. There is a sport that I watch that doesn't involve this fella. And
Thank God.
I would rather be a baseball fan than a WWE fan right now.
I wouldn't say I'm a fan of WWE. I would say I watch WWE right now because we covered on 2 marks, and if it were up to me, we wouldn't.
Oh, yeah. Show's ending. It's 2 marks and a spark. Tomorrow at what time? 4 o'clock?
4 or 5, somewhere in there.
Central Standard Time will be live right here with Ben and Uncle Russ talking about WWE and AEW and how they're just imploding right before WrestleMania.
WWE is just completely falling apart. This company cannot get it together to save its life.
All right, let's look at the graveyard one last time. So for next week, we have the Twins, the A's, the Red Sox, the Giants, and the Nationals. I'm telling you right now, I think the Red Sox are still going to be the worst team in baseball a week from now. What do you think, Ben?
I'm going to tell you who I think is going to stay in this graveyard and who I think is going to be out. I think the Giants worm their way out of this thing just because I think this is a slow start. This is a slow start. These things happen. New manager, inexperienced manager, they'll get out of it. And I think that's the only team other than the Red Sox that gets out because the Red Sox are going to figure this thing out. Alex Cora is really good at his job. They will.
Week, though, they're the worst. They're the worst on this list. They have less wins than any other team in this graveyard.
I understand, but they could easily go on a 6 or 7 game winning streak between now and next Sunday.
But you need to remember what division they play in as well.
Who do they play this week?
All right. I thought you'd never ask. Starting tomorrow, the 6th, the Boston Red Sox play Milwaukee.
They're going to win at least 2 of those.
You think they're going to beat Milwaukee twice?
I just watched Milwaukee get shellacked by Tampa for 2 out of 3. So, yeah.
And that goes to the 8th. And then they hit...
So it's a 3-gamer.
Then they hit...
Then they probably have an off day on Thursday.
Yep. And then
the Twins don't.
In St. Louis.
They'll win all 3 of those.
Dude, you're talking out of your ass now. You think they're going to sweep St. Louis in St. Louis? What gives you any confidence?
Because for as bad as the Red Sox have looked, I have infinitely more trust in them than the baby Cardinals and the Brewers, who cannot
That's funny.
Get out of their own way. The Brewers are the best at getting in their own way. They will find a way to lose 2 of those games. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's okay. I'm allowed to be wrong. I'm allowed to be right too.
Yeah, sure.
And more often than not, when it comes to baseball, I generally get the point. The Red Sox, look, I understand why they're in the graveyard. I understand that they have the worst record in baseball. But I'm telling you, this team is going to make the playoffs.
All right. Whoa. I need a whiteboard that just says stupid shit Ben says on the show.
What are you going to do when I'm right?
The whiteboard would be the size of this wall. What did you just say? The Red Sox are going to make the playoffs?
Look at their fucking roster. They're going to be fine.
The Red Sox.
There's a lot of talent there. They're going to be fine.
Dude.
We're 3 weeks in. Take a breath. There are 3 teams below 500 right now in the American League that I think are going to be fine. Your team, the Blue Jays, and the Red Sox. You're going to be fine.
You just said my team was going to miss the playoffs by a game. And then
I said that as like a hypothetical disaster scenario.
You're putting
I
the
don't
Red
think
Sox
that's going to happen.
And then you have a bottom 5 payroll in the Guardians that are probably going to win the Central.
Yes,
what is
they are.
going on here, dude? What is going
By the
on?
way, the winner of the Central will win like 84 games at tops. The winner of the Central will have won like 84 or 85 games.
Kansas
Because
City.
the Tigers are going to fall off a cliff in June. If they haven't already fallen off said cliff, they don't look very good.
It's true.
The Royals are inconsistent, and the Twins suck, and the White Sox are maybe the worst team in baseball.
All right. I got one last question for you, and then we're going to hang it up, Ben. So answer it me as quick as you can. We're moving to the NHL. The playoffs are on the horizon. Who's going to be in the Stanley Cup, and who's going to take it?
Just to drive me nuts, it's going to be Tampa and Colorado's going to win.
All right.
And it's going to drive me nuts, and it's going to piss me off. Because I'm going to tell you who's not going to win the Stanley Cup. My stupid team that traded for Quinn Hughes in December.
Yeah, that was dumb.
No, that was really smart. That was the smartest thing we've done in a decade.
What? Okay.
The dumb thing is we have a terrible head coach. That's the stupid thing.
All right.
Who has never won, by the way, this is a fact. John Hines has never won a playoff series.
Pretty good team, though. Pretty good team.
A very good team. A lot of talent. And with a proper head coach, I think they could win the Stanley Cup. But with John Hines,
right.
No way.
So you heard it here, folks. The Twins are not going to win 4 games in a row all year. The Boston Red Sox are going to make the playoffs. And the Stanley Cup final is going to be Tampa versus Colorado. Colorado in 6?
What?
5? 4? 7?
5 or 6. I don't think it's a sweep. And again, it's going to drive me nuts.
Okay.
Now watch, Tampa's going to lose in the first round to fucking Boston or something.
That'll be fine. All right, guys. We are almost at 2 hours. It was a good show about the show. Just want to give my proper fuck you to Joe Adell.
Can I give a fuck you to Tom Pohlad?
Always.
Fuck you, Tom Pohlad.
From Billy Mays and Ben
from Billy Mays.
Fuck you, Tom Pohlad, owner of the Twins.
Right. Executive chair of the Twins. Let's be.
I'm James Mars for Victor French and Ben Shrewsbury. This has been the show. We'll see you maybe next Sunday, maybe Tuesday. I don't know when.